Hey folks, welcome back to the 7-Day Conversion Challenge. I'm your host, Riley Bunce with Studio 909. And today, for the final day of the course, we're going to be looking at funnel flow optimization. So, what exactly is the problem here? 96% of visitors aren't ready to buy immediately. And as a result, most websites only cater to the 4% who actually are ready to buy. So, what does this mean for you? You're losing 96% of your potential revenue. Competitors who nurture these visitors will steal them. You're leaving millions on the table by focusing only on ready buyers. The solution to this problem is to build a revenue bridge that guides all visitors towards purchase, regardless of where they start. So, a little bit more on this revenue bridge concept. The traditional approach is to have a homepage, a product page, and the checkout. This only works for the 4% of ready buyers. A different approach is the revenue bridge approach. For each visitor type, you have appropriate content, a nurturing sequence, which will ultimately result in greater conversions. So we break down visitors into four different types. The first type is the research type. Their mindset is, I have a problem, I need a solution. Their needs are education, problem identification, and solution awareness. Their behavior is doing things like reading blog posts, downloading guides, and watching videos. The next phase is the comparison phase, and this is around 35% of traffic. Their mindset is, I know a solution exists, which is best. Their needs are feature comparisons, proof points, differentiation, and their behavior is reading reviews, comparing options, and checking testimonials. The third phase is the decision phase, and this is around 21% of traffic. So the mindset for these buyers is, I want this, but need a reason to act right now. Their needs are urgency, scarcity, risk removal, and the final push. Their behavior is revisiting sites, reading guarantees, and looking for deals. And then we have the final 4%, which are those who are in the ready to buy phase. Their mindset is, I'm convinced, make it easy to purchase. Their needs are frictionless purchase, clear process, and trust signals. Their behavior would be adding your product to their cart, entering their payment info, and completing the purchase. So, breaking these down a little bit further, looking at the research phase strategy, this group needs educational content that's going to build awareness and trust. Some of the components of their specific revenue bridge would be lead magnets like ultimate guides and checklists, free tools and calculators, educational video series, problem solving templates. And then for content strategy, we're looking at blog posts addressing pain points, how to educational content, industry trend reports, and problem identification quizzes. And then as far as capture mechanisms, we have email opt-in for valuable resources like those lead magnets, newsletter subscription, free course enrollment, and tool registration. The goal is to convert anonymous visitors into known leads. Moving on to the comparison phase, they need a clear differentiation and proof that you are the go-to choice. So some of the components here would be comparison content, have feature comparison charts, why choose us page, competitor analysis, and pricing comparison tables. Include social proof like customer testimonials, case studies, industry awards, and customer success stories. And then including differentiation tools like unique value proposition highlights, exploring your benefits, proprietary methodologies, and special guarantees or policies. Your goal is to position yourself as the obvious best choice in the market. Moving on to the decision phase, what they need is final motivation to act now instead of later. So their revenue bridge components would include urgency elements like limited time offers, seasonal promotions, flash deals, and deadline driven bonuses. For scarcity indicators, these would be things like limited inventory warnings, exclusive access offers, only X amount of spots left messages, and first come, first serve bonuses. You'll also want to include risk removal, so money back guarantees, free trials or demos, no questions asked policies, and then social proof from recent buyers. The goal is to convert their interest into immediate action. For the final phase, the ready to buy mindset, what these visitors need is a frictionless and trustworthy checkout experience. For checkout optimization, looking at things like minimal form fields, multiple payment options, guest checkout available, progress indicators. For trust signals, have security badges and certificates, customer service contact info, a clear refund or return policy, recent purchase notification, and then for friction removal, autofill capabilities, error prevention, and clear messaging, making sure that your website is optimized for all devices and that your checkout pages load super fast. The goal here is to convert the decision into completed purchase. So for the revenue bridge flow, it's going to be unique depending on which phase the visitor is at. For researchers, it might look something like a blog to a lead magnet, then an email sequence, and then a product introduction. For comparers, it might be product page, comparison chart, case study, and then demo/trial. For deciders, their flow might be page to limited offer to urgency messaging straight to checkout. For buyers, it might be direct to checkout, trust signals, and completed purchase. The bridge would be using email sequences to connect each phase, gradually moving visitors towards purchase readiness. And it doesn't just have to be emails. This can also take the form of other types of content. Tips for lead magnets. Ultimate guides have a 25 to 35% opt-in rate. The complete guide to problem solution, make sure you're solving their biggest problem. So 20 to 50 pages of comprehensive information, actionable steps and frameworks. Next would be checklists and audits. These have 30 to 40% opt-in rates and could look like the 47-point process checklist or ready-to-use templates or step-by-step implementation guide. Lastly, we have free tools and calculators, which has a 35 to 45% opt-in rate. These are things like ROI calculators, assessment tools, planning worksheets, and automated analysis tools. And again, the key here is the lead magnet should solve an immediate problem related to your paid solution. So you're definitely going to want to be sure that it's relevant to the problem that you're solving and making sure that there's a clear value for the user. Here's an example of my current lead magnet on my website. It's a breakdown of this video series in text format. You can find that in the course assets. Moving on, we're looking at comparison charts that convert shoppers. So some effective comparison strategies would be using a feature matrix layout, your solution in the middle or on either side, and your competitors on the sides. You're comparing key features between your two products, and you want to make sure that you're looking at features that you have that your competitor doesn't. So visual check marks and X marks help the user understand what's included and what isn't. We have a good example over here on the right. The next strategy is positioning tactics. Lead with your strongest differentiators. Then include features only you have, show your price or value advantage very clearly, and customer satisfaction scores. For trust elements, add things like a last updated date for accuracy. You could link to your competitors' sites so they can go check them out directly. This can help to build trust, but you want to be careful. Use a neutral tone with factual data. Don't lie. As long as you have a strong offer, it should be clear why they should go with you instead of your competitor. And lastly, third-party verification when possible. The goal here is to make your offer appear objectively superior. For ready buyers, you want to ensure that you have frictionless checkout. These are things like optimizing your form simplification so that it includes required fields, autofill as many details as possible, use saved payment methods, and single page checkout when possible. For trust maximization, you're going to be looking at using SSL certificates, major credit card logos, customer service phone numbers, and secure checkout messaging. Next, you make sure that you have your process, very clear step indicators, letting the user know where they are in the process, making sure the order summary is always visible, ensure you have edit options at each step, and include confirmation of what will happen next. For mobile optimization, make sure you have large thumb-friendly buttons. Use mobile payment options like Apple Pay and Google Pay, and simplified mobile layout. Now we're going to look at some different email sequence strategies by visitor type. An optimized email sequence for the research phase would be about 7 emails over 14 days. First would be a welcome plus deliver the lead magnet. The second would be problem deep dive, looking at why it matters. The third would be problem education, how your solution works. The fourth would be a case study looking at a real world example. The fifth would be common steps, what not to do. The sixth would be a getting started guide. The seventh and final would be a soft product introduction, how we help. Whereas if we were looking at folks in the comparison phase, we might start with a welcome/key differentiators email, followed by a feature breakdown, what makes us different, a customer success story, a bit of behind the scenes, and then finished with a special offer. For folks in the decision-making phase, we might do limited time offer, then send them a social proof blast, and then send them a final call of that offer. So moving on to exit intent capture system. This is looking at different exit intent triggers by visitor type. So when researchers are leaving, we could say something like, wait, get our ultimate guide before you go. You could have free resources offer. You could have a free resource offer with an email capture or a newsletter sign up with content. For comparers leaving, we might say something like, see how we compare to competitor. and offer a free trial or demo or a comparison chart download. And then for deciders leaving, we might say something like, don't miss out, 20% off expires tomorrow, offer them a limited time discount, or join 10,000 happy customers. And then when buyers are abandoning, we can say, complete your order and save 10%, a free shipping offer, or items in your cart are in high demand. Now we're going to move on to creating your own revenue bridge map. The first step is going to be doing a traffic analysis, identifying your current traffic sources, analyzing visitor behavior patterns. You want to segment by visitor intent or behavior, then map your current conversion paths for each of those different intent types, such as researcher or decision maker. Step 2 is to perform a content audit, list existing content by visitor type, identify gaps in coverage, assess content quality and relevance, and content creation. Step 3 would be conversion point mapping. You're going to mark all of your current conversion opportunities, identify missed conversion chances, plan new capture mechanisms, and design nurturing sequences like emails and exit intent. For step 4, we're going to be looking at flow optimizations, connecting your content to appropriate visitor types, creating logical progression paths, removing friction points, and adding missing bridge elements. So for automating your funnel components, look at a lead scoring system that's tracking email opens and clicks. You're going to monitor website behavior and score based on engagement level. Additionally, look at trigger sequences based on your score. For behavioral triggers, we're going to be looking at page visit tracking, time on site measurements, download and form completions, and shopping cart behaviors. For dynamic content, we're going to be looking at personalized email content, website content based on visitor type, product recommendations, and customized offers. And then re-engagement campaigns are things like winning back inactive subscribers, cart abandonment sequences, browser abandonment emails, and second chance offers. So some key performance indicators that you're going to want to look at the top of the funnel. You're going to look at conversion rates by traffic source for your lead magnet, email opt-in rates by page, content engagement metrics, social sharing and referrals. And then your middle of funnel is going to look like email open and click rates by sequence, content consumption and progression, lead scoring and advancement, and then nurture sequence completion rates. For your bottom of funnel, you're going to be looking at sales conversion rates by visitor type, average time from lead to customer, customer lifetime value by acquisition source, and then revenue per visitor improvement. Your overall bridge performance is going to be total funnel conversion rate, revenue per visitor increase, customer acquisition cost reduction, and then lifetime value to acquisition cost ratio. Looking at some common revenue bridge mistakes, the first would be a one-size-fits-all approach where you're treating all of the visitors the same instead of segmenting by intent. Second would be pushing sales too early before the visitor actually understands what it is that you do and why they should care. Mistake number 3 is weak middle of funnel content. So perhaps you have a great lead magnet, but poor nurturing sequence. Mistake number 4 would be ignoring mobile experience. So desktop optimized funnels that break on mobile. Mistake number 5 would be set and forget mentality, not testing and optimizing funnel performance. And then mistake number 6, missing exit intent capture system, letting visitors leave without a second chance. All right, so one thing to consider is, depending on your industry, you're going to have a unique revenue bridge. Looking at a SaaS company, for researchers, their sequence might be free tools to educational email series to product demo, whereas comparers might be feature comparison to case studies to free trial, whereas deciders, and you get the idea. But e-commerce, instead of their researchers, might have their first intro would be style guides to fashion tip emails to product showcases. You would never want to send fashion tip emails to a potential SaaS client. So the idea here is to consider what industry you're in and nurture based on that. So a couple of advanced revenue bridge tactics, things like dynamic content personalization. So showing a different homepage based on the traffic source, customizing your product recommendations by behavior, personalizing your email content by engagement level, adapting your checkout flow by device. And then for multi-channel integration, these can be things like retargeting visitors on social media, using SMS for urgent decision phase messaging. You can look at integrating social proof with multiple platforms and then cross-pollinating email and social audiences. For predictive analytics, look at identifying high value visitor patterns, predicting churn before it happens, optimizing send times by user behavior, and automated personalized offers based on data. For advanced segmentation, you can segment by company size. You can look at geographics, customization, industry specific messaging, and seasonal behavior patterns. All right, so building your revenue bridge week by week. Week one is going to be completing the visitor journey mapping, audit existing content and conversion points, setting up a basic email sequence, and implementing exit intent capture. Week two is looking at content creation, creating lead magnets for researchers, building comparison charts for shoppers, design urgency elements for deciders, and optimizing your checkout for buyers. Week three is automation setup, so configuring your email sequences by visitor type, setting up behavioral triggers, implementing lead scoring systems, and creating re-engagement campaigns. And then for week four, this is going to be looking at testing and optimization. So A/B test key funnel elements, analyze conversion rates by visitor type, optimize weak points in the bridge, plan ongoing improvement strategy. All right. Here is your revenue bridge implementation plan for immediate actions that you can take today. Map your current visitor journey, identify your visitor type percentages, audit existing conversion opportunities, and set up a basic exit intent capture. This week, create one lead magnet for researchers, build a basic email sequence with 5 emails, add comparison elements for shoppers, and optimize your main checkout process. Over the next 30 days, look at implementing full email sequences by visitor type, create urgency element for deciders, set up behavioral tracking and triggers, test and optimize your conversion rate. Your goal here is to double your conversion rate within the next 60 days. Go get them. All right. So your homework, the least that you can do is build a complete visitor journey map and implement one component for each visitor type within 7 days. Remember that 96% of your visitors aren't ready to buy today, but with the right revenue bridge, they will be by tomorrow, next week, or next month. Build the bridge and guide them across. Stop losing 96% of your potential revenue. Start building your revenue bridge today. Thank you so much. This concludes day 7. We've officially completed the course. Congratulations. I hope this has been helpful for you in learning how to convert more visitors into paying customers. Again, my name is Riley Bunce. I'm the founder of Studio 909. We help founders to convert more through strategic web design. If you're interested in learning more about my company or my work, feel free to check us out at studio909.io. Thank you again so much for taking the time to watch all these videos. I really appreciate it. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.